Hey friends, it's Steven with Leviathan Snakes, and for this week's video, we are going to be talking about the future of double recessive projects. 2 to 3 years from now, so we're looking at 2025, 2026, since it's 2023 right now. What is the ball python hobby going to look like, specifically in terms of double recessive projects? So, we hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump into it. Going back 2 to 3 years, we're looking at 2020, 21, and 22. I think that it was like this kind of time frame when people really started seeing that double multi-recessive projects were the future of the ball python hobby. And because of that, throughout 2020, 2021, and 2022, most people who are in the hobby at that time started making multi-recessive or multi-het animals, visual het animals, and their own double recessive animals. So I think that all of this is really, really important because what this is saying is that most people have kind of picked their projects, if that makes sense. To work a double recessive project, you actually need quite a bit of space. So we have a 70-30 rack here, we have a 55-40, we have some hatchling racks, and we do have more space for more racks ourselves, but we can't work every single double recessive or triple recessive or quadruple recessive that exists. In fact, we right now are working 3 double recessive projects, and these 3 double recessive projects, it just kind of depends on what we get lucky with and what do we hit first, and depend on what we're going to really focus on for the future once we get to that point. Anyways, so the reason why I bring this up is that a lot of people have already kind of picked the double recessive project that they're in, even if they haven't hit their double recessive animal yet. And 2 to 3 years from now, most likely, whether they've bought it or they've hit it on their own, almost everybody in the hobby that's like established in the hobby, maybe not brand new to the hobby 2 to 3 years from now, will have a double recessive animal. And I think that this is really important because when you are trying to plan for the future or the future of double recessive projects, and we're looking 2 to 3 years in the future, we want to try to anticipate what that target market is going to be doing then. What is going to best serve the customers 2 to 3 years from now. And the reason why I bring this up is I think that it is not uncommon for people to kind of race to the double visual or the triple visual without working other genes into the project at first. And like we're this way. We did this already. So with our double het sunset ultra males, there's no other genes in them. And with our double het sunset clowns, though we are working other genes in our sunset clown project this year, the first year that we did it, last year, when we made our initial double hets, we didn't have any other genes in them either. And I think that this happens across the board. There's a lot of people who are new to the hobby, they get generally maybe a breeder female that might be a clown, or a breeder female that might be a pied, or something like that, where they grow up one of their very first animals. So when they very first are able to make their double hets or their visual hets or anything like that, they probably don't have very many genes in them. And the reason why I think that this is super important is because if you're making double visuals 2 to 3 years from now and you don't have any other genes in them at all, I don't think that they are going to have nearly the level of demand that they do right now in 2023 or even last year in 2022. I actually think that the demand for double visuals without any other genes, any other hets, anything like that, is actually starting to fall, and you can see that in prices. So an example that you can look at this right now is February of 2023, you go on and you look at Clown Pied. So Clown Pied is probably one of the most popular double recessive projects in the entire ball python hobby. And right now, you can get a Clown Pied male, no other genes in them, for $2,000 asking price on Morph Market. And most likely, because there's multiple of them on there, you can probably get a Clown Pied male for less than $2,000 by making a decent offer to one of the sellers. So the reason why I bring this up is if Clown Pied, a double visual right now, a Clown Pied male, which is one of the more popular double visual projects because it goes well in so many different things, is $2,000 right now, what is it going to be in 2 to 3 years from now? And I personally am going to be really surprised if it is over $1,000 2 to 3 years from now. And the reason why I bring this up is if you are working on, let's say, the Clown Pied project, and you've done it by breeding a pied to a clown, and you've made your double hets, and you're growing your double hets up, and you're planning to maybe pair a double het male back to your double het females, and then 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to be having a shot, a 1 in 16 chance to be making a Clown Pied double visual on your own. At that point, I personally think that you may want to consider that once you are at your goal stage 2 to 3 years from now for this double visual project, you may not really have as big or as strong of a market for a single double visual with no other genes than you would right now. And all of the other misses, all of those pos hets that you'd be creating, they are probably also going to have a way harder time moving and getting a decent value for them if you are working your project kind of like from this angle. So I don't necessarily say this is like a doom and gloom, don't go after double visuals. I do think that you should go after double visuals. They are in my opinion, the foundation of the future of the ball python hobby. That said, I think that what you should do is, rather than investing years of effort just to make the double visual, is if you can afford it and if you have the means, I think that you should try to kind of jump ahead by working other genes into the project right away. Because if 2 to 3 years from now most people have their double visual, but they don't want to just give up on the project, they haven't just hit their double visual, they haven't just hit their clown pied and now they're done, they want to work other genes into the project too. So if you're positioning yourself where 2 to 3 years from down the road, you're not just making a clown pied, but you might be making a leopard clown pied, or an inchy clown pied, or a spot nose clown het pied, or something like this. You are going to be in a way better position 2 to 3 years from now than you would if you just went straight for the double visual as fast as you could. So my advice is, rather than trying to just make the double visual, whatever that is if you can, if it's available to you, if you can afford it, if it's available in the marketplace, because a lot of the sunset double recessive projects that we work on, there's not other animals that are available in the marketplace. Try to make it so that way you're making your double het, combo double hets, combo visual hets, and then pair a combo visual het male to those other females with the other genes, so that way you're making things that are not necessarily brand new, like somebody else may have hit them, but it's not going to be the exact same thing that everybody else has in the market once it comes up to 2 to 3 years from now, and everybody is being able to produce their own double visuals. So I know it was a little bit of a short video, and I kind of like rambled and wasn't super concise with it, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.